Welcome back, guys. I'm Azan, and today I want to share my personal story with you. Almost a year ago, my life felt like it was falling apart, scene by scene. Health issues I couldn't control made it impossible to live normally. Going outside was out of the question, eating was a struggle, and most days I was stuck in bed, feeling like I was wasting away. Over the course of 8 months, I lost almost 20 pounds, drifted apart from many friends, and despite being known as the calm one my whole life, I had to learn how to manage anxiety attacks. My only goal during that time was simple: to feel normal again. Fast forward a year and almost 90 days, I'm finally in a better place. The health issues still hang around, but for everything within my control, I've done all I could to get back to some version of normal. It took time, but this is how I turned things around in just 100 days. Step 1. Clean up your act. When life starts to slip, so does everything around you. My space became a mess, cluttered, dirty, and chaotic. It mirrored how I felt inside. I felt awful, and the mess around me just reinforced that feeling. It became a cycle. My environment made me feel worse, and feeling worse made me neglect everything even more. I'd look in the mirror and see someone who couldn't even manage basic hygiene, let alone bigger life changes. So, I started small. Cleaned my room, then my desk. I did laundry, took care of myself, got some fresh clothes. And guess what? After months of feeling stuck at rock bottom, that tiny bit of progress made me believe I could change things. Step 2. Cut down on phone usage. My daily screen time was out of control. 10 to 15 hours a day, watching movies I'd already seen, endlessly scrolling, revisiting the same handful of websites. I didn't know how to improve my life, so I scrolled. When guilt kicked in, I'd sit at my desk to work, but soon found myself back on my phone, losing another hour. It was the first thing I touched when I woke up, and the last thing I saw before I fell asleep. I realized I hadn't had an original thought in forever, so I took action. I got 2 phones, a crack phone for distractions, and a Kale phone for essentials. The crack phone had all the time wasters, while the Kale phone only had the necessities, messages, essential apps. Using the crack phone for breaks and the Kale phone for everything else, my screen time dropped dramatically, from 10 to 15 hours to just 1 to 2. Step 3. Try out healthy habits. Isolation had taken a toll. The longer I stayed alone, the more anxious I became, to the point where any social situation triggered anxiety attacks. My mind would spiral until I found myself alone again. It was new, it was overwhelming, and I knew I had to try something different. So I experimented, journaling for 3 days, practicing gratitude for a week, therapy for 3 months. I committed to the gym for 6 months and meditated for 9 months. Therapy, which I never imagined I'd turn to, became a cornerstone of my growth. I tried various things, let go of what didn't work, and focused on habits that made a real difference in my life. Step 4. Figure out what you want. I was slowly getting my life back on track, but I had no real sense of direction. If you'd asked me what my goals were, I'd probably just say I wanted to feel normal again. So, I took the time to explore what I truly wanted out of life. 3 key lessons came out of that. First, I realized that there are only a few areas I truly care about: relationships, fun, career, finances, and health. Second, I set 2 goals for each area: a ceiling goal, the most ambitious, and a floor goal, the bare minimum. That way, I could manage my expectations while still striving for progress. And third, I focused on the inputs, not the outputs. Want better relationships? Spend quality time with people. Want to improve in the gym? Go regularly. The key was focusing on the process, not the results. Step 5. Build your schedule. A good life comes from good years, which come from good months, weeks, and ultimately, good days. I started by designing what I wanted my ideal, normal days to look like. Not the extraordinary days, just the regular ones. My calendar became a reflection of my priorities: career, relationships, fun, health, and finances. It was a conscious choice to align my daily habits with what mattered most to me, and that's how I've tried to live each day since. Step 6. Do what you say you'll do. This was probably the most important part of the 100 days. I had a plan, I knew when to do things, and I understood why. But the real challenge was following through. Whenever I didn't keep my word to myself, I'd lose trust in my own ability to make progress. Consistency became my confidence booster. Instead of being harsh when I slipped up, I practiced self-compassion, which allowed me to stick with things longer, take on bigger projects, and feel more positive throughout the journey. Step 7. Consistency over everything. I finally reached a point where I could look in the mirror and not feel defeated. My health wasn't perfect, but the daily habits I stuck with were paying off. I came to a crucial realization. Quitting meant guaranteed failure, but consistency gave me a fighting chance. It was the simplest actions, like walking for just 1 minute each day, that slowly pulled me out of rock bottom. That one small step snowballed into a foundation for everything else I built afterward. Step 8. Reflect on your progress. As much as those months were the darkest period of my life, they were also the most transformative. I realized that growth often comes from pain, and I emerged stronger. A quote from the myth of Sisyphus has stayed with me. The struggle itself towards the heights is enough to fill a man's heart. That struggle became a part of me, shaping who I am now. In the end, the struggle is where real growth happens. My journey from rock bottom taught me that the toughest challenges often lead to the most profound transformations. If you're facing your own obstacles, remember that small, consistent steps can lead to massive change. Stick with it, and you'll be surprised at how far you can go. If you found this journey helpful and want to follow along for more insights and motivation, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Let's keep pushing forward together.